Your sole purpose isn't to be a barber here on this planet Earth. I'm going to tell you that now. If you think that God placed you on this earth to be a barber, you're wrong. And when I say that, I don't mean do what you do. If this is your passion, if you love to do this, I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is, if you think that God put you on this earth to just cut hair, literally to just cut hair, you're so wrong. When you look up what a barber is a therapist, a barber is a doctor, a barber is or used to be a doctor, used to be a dentist, but now you're a therapist. You're somebody that educate people. You help people progress in life. So you almost like a business coach. You instill confidence into people because you're an image consultant. You're much more than a person that cut hair. So you gotta treat it as such, bro. You're not a barber. You don't just cut hair. You're a business. You're a brand. Image consultant. Therapist. A business coach. And until you make that mind switch, until you realize that these times are not the same as those times when being a barber was just cutting hair, letting your client come in the shop and sit down and wait on you because you was late, or because he was a walk-in and you was only taking this is walk-in area, the era of walk-ins. He walk in the shop, you cutting somebody, you tell him, okay, let me get done with this head, then I got you. Or even now, like you taking appointments, your appointment walk in, you running late on the appointment, so now he got to sit down and wait in the waiting area until you get done cutting because you running late. And then you don't sweep up your area, so you don't clean up the area for him. You're late to his appointment. And whenever it's time for him to sit down in the chair, he just sit down. You don't greet him by his name. You don't shake his hand. You don't acknowledge him. You don't do none of these things to add value, to give him a reason to continue to come back or continue to pay you a higher price point whenever you do realize that you have to go up on your price. You don't give him no reason to do that because you don't do the little things. You think they care about the cut. Yeah, all in all, I want a good haircut. All in all, I want you to save my hairline. All in all, I want you to make me look good. But bro, anybody can do that. I charge $100 and my clients do not leave me. Why? Because I add value. I greet them by their name when they come in the shop. I shake their hand. I make sure during the cut, everything is running smoothly as possible and they are getting exactly what they wanted. They don't just sit down in my chair and I say, are we doing the same thing? And cut his hair and watch the game and talk to every other barber and every other client that's in the door. I don't do that. That's why I moved into a suite. I treat my clients as if they was walking into a brand new establishment. And I treat my clients, I know y'all know the old saying, treat people how you want to be treated. So imagine you walking in to a new establishment or going to a barber that you never been. You seen his work on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, whatever such. You seen his work and you said, dang, he cut nice. I want to go get a haircut by him. You go get a haircut by him, but the service is complete dog water. He don't greet you by your name. He don't try to make sure the haircut is good. He don't turn you to the mirror and give you a consultation to actually dissect and figure out what kind of haircut you want. What is the problems you're having? And he cut your hair just like the last barber that you just left that was doing the exact same thing that the new barber isn't solving. The other last barber probably going into your light corners and pushing your hairline back. So you thought the new barber was gonna not do that, but he still did that because he didn't do the consultation. He didn't provide any other value that the other barber did. How would that make you feel? How would that make you feel if you went from Applebee's to Ruth's Chris and they had the exact same service, the food tasted the exact same, and you paid more at Ruth's Chris? How would that make you feel? It would make me feel like I just got cheated out of my money. People, we are naturally selfish as human beings. And with you being a selfish person, all you thinking about is money. And that's the OG barber way. Stop thinking about yourself. Stop thinking about money. It's not about you at all. People get into the barber industry because they can make their own schedule. They control their own time. They don't have to listen to nobody. They their own boss. Dude, if you don't have a good schedule, if you don't have good time, you won't be able to accommodate a lot of people because your schedule is off. And if you don't have the right schedule, you won't be able to make a lot of money. And you talking about you want to be your own boss. Dude, every single client that sit down in your chair is your boss. Every single client that sits down in your chair is your boss. Why? Because you have to make sure they are satisfied. They are paying you. Right? They telling you what kind of haircut they want to do. They are your boss. But all in all, with this being your expertise, with this being your job, with you being the professional, you have to let them know, as an image consultant, you have to let them know that maybe this haircut doesn't suit you. Maybe this haircut isn't good for your face shape. And these are little things that you gotta let your clients know. But all in all, they are still your boss, technically, because they telling you what they want and what they want you to do. But you're so selfish that it's to the point of, okay, what you getting? Taper hairline, okay, boom. And then you watch TV and talk to the other barbers as if they have no feelings, as if they're not paying you for your service. Think about a waiter. When you go to a restaurant and sit down, if they don't treat you with the utmost respect, make sure that you satisfied throughout the whole entire time that you sit down eating or getting serviced, you're not going to leave a tip. So think of barbering the same way. If you don't treat that client the best way possible, if you don't leave a good impression, you're not going to get a tip. And I'm gonna tell you this as well. When your clients tip you, your average tip amount is what your clients is telling you that you need to be charging. They're telling you what your service is worth. Even your first time getting a tip, that's what your service is worth. If you charge $30 and you get tipped $40, right? So you made $40 a cut, so he tipped you $10. Your service is now worth $40. And no, I'm not saying raise your prices because somebody pays you $40. But what I am saying is raise your standards. When you're telling yourself, when you constantly tell yourself on repeat, if I make $30 every single cut and I'm booked out at $30, then I'm okay. So you basically telling God that you are perfectly fine at $30 a cut. So ultimately, you're not thinking abundantly, so he's not going to bless you abundantly. You have to think abundantly, operate abundantly to get abundant blessings. Stop thinking everything gonna be handed to you. Raise your standards. Your standards are too low. When a client tipped me $50 at $100 a cut, now my standard is now $150. And I only want to cut for $150, and I only want to make $150 a cut, nothing less. So now I'm going to work so hard that is going to be the base standard. That's the base standard. Everybody should pay me $150 for a cut, not $100, not $115, not $120, not $125. not 90, not 75, not 50, 150. And that's going to be the standard until somebody else tip me over 150, and then that's going to be the standard. You want to make sure your goals is so big that people laugh at you. People think it's unrealistic. People think that it's not accomplishable. Only when you accomplish it, only when you reach that goal, is when people will start to ask, how did you do it? What did you do? It's always funny at the start. But once I get it though, once you reach it, that's when you ultimately succeeded. You got to think about all the doubts, all the reasons why, or everybody who doubted you. You have to think about that. Use that negative energy positively. Focus it towards grind. Focus it towards your ambition. Focus it towards your goals. Everybody that said, Jeremiah, you cannot do that. Everybody that said, barbering is not a job. You cannot make a consistent income from that. Everybody who said these little things that made you want to go harder, that needs to be the reason of why you go harder, why you actually close your mouth, separate yourself from those people, and put in the work. The reason why a lot of barbers cannot scale is because they let those thoughts of other people's self-doubts, they let the thoughts of other people's self-worth, their limiting beliefs rub off onto them. So they never look to scale. They never look to raise their prices. They never look to make more money because they don't think they can make more money because of other people's thoughts. That's why it's good to separate yourself from people. Separation is the time that you get closer to God. Separation is the time that you build a relationship with the Lord Almighty. And only then will you realize that everything that you want to achieve is achievable through Christ. Everything that you want to achieve that has already been achieved is through Christ. God's bank account is unlimited. He has unlimited funds, unlimited money. And you think he don't want to bless you with that? You think he don't want to bless you abundantly? You think he only want to bless certain people? You think he only want to see certain people win? He wants everybody to win. But he knows everybody does not have the mental capacity, the stress capacity, the stress tolerance. He knows a lot of people don't have that. And if you're one of those people, don't expect to get blessed abundantly if you can't think and operate abundantly. Stop allowing yourself to have these low standards that when you reach this goal, it doesn't matter anymore. That when you reach this $10,000 a month as a barber, that you can slow down and you can let off the gas. That's the time to hit the gas even more. Because in today's age, $10,000 is $5. You go through $10,000 like this. So why are you settling for the bare minimum? And not to mention, when you settle, you're not settling, you're declining. The world is constantly going up. It's constantly going up. It's constantly increasing. The price of food. Y'all just seen the eggs went up to almost $1 an egg. For the pasture-raised eggs, it's almost $1 an egg. That's $12 for 12 dozen eggs. That doesn't even make sense. And you're allowing yourself to stay here while everything else is here. So if you're here and time is here, look at this. You're here whenever you hit 10,000, but time, time, time. You're declining, you're decreasing. Stop allowing yourself to decrease and decline. I think it just got hot. Stop allowing yourself to settle, bruh. Get up and get to it each and every day. Work as if it's up to you and pray at knowing that it's up to God. God already knows. God knows what's there for you. He just want to see what route you're going to take. But each route, he already knows what happens. He knows the trials and tribulations you're going to go through. But this is your story. You are the author of your story. God he just already knows what happens on each side of the road. If you go left and he is right. For another example, let me demonstrate. If say you are, like, say I am you, this is God, this is the devil. You come to your first stop sign, which is, let's say, a client walk in and you got an appointment coming in at 5 o'clock. In 5 minutes, you got an appointment coming in, but you don't know for sure if he's going to come, but you know it's an appointment in 5 minutes that's supposed to show up and a walk-in come in. And you take that walk-in, you move to the left. So now you're one step closer to the devil, one step further away from God. You take that walk-in and your appointment show up. Now you're going to be 20, 30 minutes late. So now you got to apologize to that client, make it up to him, maybe give him a free cut, right? So then you didn't record content and you know you were supposed to record. You move one step closer to the devil, because the devil do not want you to work. He wants you to procrastinate. He wants you to stay still. He wants you to stay stagnant. So every time you don't push the needle forward, every time you don't take that step forward, you making sure that God is winning. So you have made another step closer to the devil. And this how it worked once you start doing good deed. So after work, you went straight to the gym. You took one step back and one step closer. Then from the gym, you tracked your macros and ate a macro meal. You took one step back. Now you back in neutral. Now, when you go home, you edited up some type of content. Even though you didn't record, you probably made a showcase compilation. You got one step closer to God. Then you went to bed on time. You got one step closer. Then you woke up at 4:30. You got one step closer. Then you tracked your macros, read your Bible, journal. You got 3 steps closer to God. The closer you get with God, the more you hear God, the more you hear him, the more you obey him, the more of a relationship, the bigger the relationship it is with him. But until you start operating in complete alignment and detach from the result and just chase the thing and detach from each result, each goal, you need some type of what's the word I'm looking for, man? You need some type of, you need somewhere to go, right? You need something to chase, basically. But once you write it down, let's say your goal is 10K a month. That's your big goal. Okay, we got the big goal. Now detach from it and figure out exactly what work do you need to put in to reach that goal.